Now I would like to present you the dear friend of Agile Tour Vilnius. He's coming here fourth time, and we do not know why he's coming, but we keep listening to him. Because every time when he presents something, we're very eager to listen, to understand, and question how he works. Vladimirs Ivanovs. Now he's serial entrepreneurship, and he will talk about how to create team, as he said in the talk show about minions. Vladimir, floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, Vilnius. Nice to see you. And I would like to again try to now bring different perspective than I was bringing before. I started to do companies. Why? I will try to share with you. And I think it's important to understand how we set up companies or teams. If you leave this room with some knowledge how to find people with who you could set up a company or do a project, work on an idea, I would be happy. So, quickly about myself. I was, even in the late 80s, quite okay in programming in assembler for PDP-11, but somehow was distracted from this nice job to project management in telecoms, in different telecoms, and was also CIO for retail chain, health and beauty. That's where drogos, that's where women like to go, right? And since then, I started to work as consultant and trainer. And then something have happened. I got a mask. I have it here now. And that's a company, agiletransformer.com. That's a new venture that we set in Latvia and helping companies to become more agile. I came this night because yesterday we were in a workshop with big bank and software producer kicking off a project that they will for first time work in an agile way. And this is a company that has actually no leaders, no project manager. But what do you think? The project manager, shall he be a leader or not? Yes? Can we do an exercise? Please stand up. I think you remember what have happened already today. Project managers, please sit down. Okay? Team leaders, please sit down. Trainers, coaches, please sit down. And other type of managers, please sit down. Guys who are sitting now, you are also awesome. Please sit down, everybody. So, another question that usually is asked on project management conferences. Shall project manager be expert in the industry or not? What do you think? It's helpful, yes. So it's more yes. Can people who say that project manager don't have to be an expert, raise your hand. Okay, I see you most likely work in the large companies where you have this possibility. So the answer is, it depends. But actually, all these requirements on top of be an industry leader, isn't it a little bit too much? I think it is. When I created this presentation, I think I came up with a new abbreviation that haven't been used before. PM. Perfect manager. How project management theories are created. People start to do surveys. They study models, how other successful managers work. And then they create a summary, right? And the fault is in the way how this study is done. Because there is no one person who has abilities of all people that have been studied and put as a summary, as a recommendation, what project manager shall do. I have very good anecdotal story that highlights this. Once in the church, priests have asked, have anybody seen a perfect man? Ever? Please stand up if you did. Nobody stood up. And priest continued, have anybody seen a perfect woman? And then one elderly woman stood up and told, yes. Priest, amazed, asked her, how can it be? I never met her. He were dead, but my husband have been telling a lot of stories about her. It's his ex-wife. Conclusion, I think, is obvious. If somebody have achieved perfection, he must be dead. And now I promised the minions. I also did a study. And the personalities are actually all characters appearing in this work are fictitious. Any resemblance to real person living or dead is purely coincidental. So, dear friends, nothing personal, just business. But this type of personalities, personas, that I have often met in companies and in business. 4 types. Met Opie. He is named in this category producer. So he's usually bachelor in computer science, and he knows at least 3 programming languages, and he got promoted to management role because of success in previous superior roles. He was a good technician and became a project manager. What he does as a project manager, he continues to create tools and automate the process, because then the people in his team can be more efficient, right? Extreme side of this personality is called the Lone Ranger. Why? Because he works very hard. And this abbreviation, FISH, first in, still here, is about him. You see often these people when you forgot something in your office and you return from the party in the evening and you see somebody sitting and working. That's Opie. He is very straight. Yes means yes, no means no. And the pity about him is that he doesn't train his team and doesn't delegate. Why? How he could train somebody to his perfection? Why do not delegate? Nobody can do the work better than him. And when you bring an idea, He is what-oriented. So what shall we do? Don't ask other questions. What will we do? And you find him busy solving everyday's problem. Have you heard about Peter's principle? Raise your hand. Now everybody can raise your hand. Please do, because Peter's principle is this. We promote people to the level of their incompetence. That's about the role of technician who got promoted to project manager. In the result, company loses good technician and gets very poor manager. So, Opie. Do you recognize this kind of people? You know what minions do? When they recognize and get excited, they scream, "Banana!" Can you try? Banana! Once again. Good. Let's meet another person. Tara. The beauty. Often, somehow, she gets into testing and release management process. And her nickname is Administrator. So she loves processes and documentation, and also when she leaves is 5 o'clock. When she comes, it's exactly the time of start of the work. Her desk is clean, and you can find only some books on this desk, wherefrom she gets some guidance how to manage. Extreme side, you can see in all large companies. Bureaucrat. Yes. But interesting how she responds to questions. If you ask a question and you get silence, it means no. If you ask, if she says no, and that's a typical answer. Typical answer is silence, it means no. And actually no means maybe. She is how-oriented. For example, and how will it scale? That's a very nice question. If you want to upset a presenter, you can ask 2 types of questions. One is, how does it scale? And another is, can you please go back to the slide number 23? And you ask nothing. Just to check if the person can get there. Focus on what should be done. That means she will tell what should be done in order to get there. Pity, the bad thing about this character is that she would rather do wrong things right than the right things wrong. And that's another story. I'm in this project management community, the old hacks, that's IPMA, and one of the Finnish board members have told the story. His grandpa never traveled, and when he got retirement, he decided to go for a world tour. And he returned back. And his relatives asked, "Did you had any language problems?" "No, they did," was the reply. And that's a typical attitude by Tara. Do you have any problem? No, they do. And Ladies and gentlemen, next person is Jax. I should have this next time, these jeans and this one eye, because that's about me. I'm an entrepreneur, and I like to contribute, I like innovations, I like to change directions and priorities. For me, there is no time for when it's needed, the meeting, then the meeting will take place. And yeah, that's maybe why I got into project management. I do a lot of talking. Likes much activity, rushing, crisis, and unfortunately overload subordinates. Extreme side, arsonist. I have idea. Let's do this. I have a company in Latvia, a big company, where middle management have been confessing to me, the boss is changing strategy on a weekly basis. Can you talk to him? That's a typical arsonist. Silence means yes, and typical answer yes means maybe. Why not oriented? Little appreciation for time, scope, and budget. That's why I love Agile. No. That's a person who would first propose Agile, DevOps, or Lean in the company. What's good about the person? Good teacher. But alone, if you put this person alone without anybody helping him, there will be a lot of fire. And the fourth person, TIG, integrator. So, integrity, a must for good leader to have. That's illogical. Integrity is about listening to other opinions, about collecting different opinions, tolerance to that, to finding compromise. You can see sometimes the cultural patterns. Like if you go to Sweden, I think majority are TIGs, like the compromise. Listens well, sensitive to power play, and spends his life in meetings where everyone talks because nobody manages him. Sensitive to power play means, an example, in a meeting with management, he waits until everybody tells the opinion, and then he waits which side is going to win. He senses that and tells this as his invention. So it's his invention where the majority are. And everybody likes him. Extreme side, super follower. So follows everybody and then tries to be connected. Typical answer, yes, no. Whatever he tells means maybe. And that's a person who you need in the team, because he will research who can do what, and he will tell what kind of people are needed. He is good in finding people doing the work instead of him. Potential good right hand or shepherd. That's governance, government level. There is a saying by Bill Crosby. I don't know the way to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody. And that's the negative side about this persona. Do you recognize this? The right answer is not The right answer is banana. Try again. Banana. Okay. Let me present one a little bit complex, but you will actually resolve it. This is called management styles: producer, administrator, entrepreneur, and integrator. And you can see that on the scale of pace, producer and entrepreneur are much faster than administrator and integrator. On the perspective, entrepreneur and integrator give more global perspective than producer and administrator. So that's how this matrix shall be read. And I'd like you to actually now stand up and go into this, around this, and stand in the circles around this integrator, administrator, producer, and entrepreneur. Let's create mess, because I'm entrepreneur. So let's move, and you have to decide for yourself which role is yours, and move to that corner. Can you do that? And you cannot stay, because you have to make decision. Move, move. So?
Just 17 minutes.
How much?
17.
Okay, please, please. Who came already to the poster? You can find pen there. And please, you can draw or write a keyword. You can draw something, or you can write a keyword that represents your personality. You can draw or write a keyword that represents your personality. Please do it. Okay. You are individuals, and you... No, you are individuals. Okay, I see. You need a consensus here. That's the integrator corner. So, write a keyword or draw something. Administrators, please, I give a direction. This is an order. The process looks like this. You take a pen and you draw something. And then you give the pen to other. End of the process. Okay? Entrepreneurs, please don't fight for the pen. Producers, the outcome shall look like a poster full of keywords and drawings. This is the end result. This is what you have to produce. Okay. Integrators. Do you have word cooperation? Do you have word motivation and cooperation? People? Perfect. Good. Administrators. Don't study documentation, administrators. You don't have time. Okay. Entrepreneurs, do you have creativity? Perfect. Producers, do you have results there? Administrators, do you have words like procedures and systems? Jira. Perfect. If you take another perspective, integrators, who-oriented. Entrepreneurs, why not? Producers, what? Administrator, how? It feels quite hard for you to do something, right? But if you mix, I think you would be better off. Because entrepreneur would come and give you ideas, right? It starts here. Creativity and starts from entrepreneurs. And then the integrator comes. And that will find the way how cooperation shall be run. And then administrator is needed in your team in order to give you a tool and make sure you follow it. And then you need somebody to do black job, producers. Now, please sit down. Thank you very much. Let's continue. I would like you to have a look here. This is another matrix where you can divide people you meet in the categories. And the problem, if you feel that you have not well developed one of 4 parts, then if you are promoted to manager, you become mismanager. I mean not a beauty queen, but lone rager, bureaucrat, arsonist, super follower, or it's the worst case, deadwood. Because deadwood generate only deadwood. You can sometimes find a department of deadwood. But if you have at least one developed and others are not zeros, you are good for the manager. But if you would like to become a leader, you need to develop other parts in your personality. And if you cannot change yourself, like if you are too old like me, then you need to find people who would complement you. That's simple. But when you find them, you need to somehow find a common language. And it's not easy because you are different. It's only in the books. You can go through forming, norming, storming, and then performing. I think usually in life, it's just storming all the day. Because people change in the team, they have different mood, they are different. And for example, from the task focus perspective, producer is focused on results, administrator on the process. They don't fit. If you put them in the room and say, you agree what to do, they might fight. One of the ways to develop as a manager is to develop self-awareness and conscious. So you understand who you are and you become well-rounded in this code. And you know your weaknesses. For example, I know that I can become easily an arsonist. So I keep other people in the teams in order to calm me down, and administrator will put a process in front of me. And if I not go through the process, then I'm not producing the fire. If I go through the process, we produce together something better. What else? You have to accept strengths, weaknesses, and uniqueness. And you can identify what's excellent in weaknesses of others. For example, I know that in this conference, administrator group is not big. But if you go to another type of conference, you can see that group significantly bigger than others. Is it bad or good? It's fine. You just need to be able to identify how to put these people together. And you can accept and appreciate that they are different. What is important? Beer is important in IT. Will there be a beer after this conference? That's why I'm coming. And last thing, it's not the good leader, good manager is not the one who knows everything and knows all the answers. It's the one who can create an environment where others will feel good and will produce good results. That's, I think, important. So you need to create learning environment in which conflicts can be resolved. And this mutual trust and respect is a foundation. I promised that you would bring away something that will help you to find the bliss, no less than that. You see here, any consultant can do these models with a lot of bubbles. So I used to work as consultant, so that's another bubble form. But actually, if you see, for example, what you love to do, and what the world needs, and you see what the world will pay for, and what you do well, here in the middle is a sweet spot you shall be aiming for. That's a bliss. I can give an example. I realized that I like to create ideas. I realized that world needs some agility and then project management. After 15 years of working in different corporations, I started to do it quite well and realized that actually the companies that help other people to get there are willing to pay. So in the end, you can be there. This guy has told very good thing, that job of the manager is far too complicated for the single individual to do. We need a complementary team. His name is Ichak Adizes. If you Google, you can find some books like these ones. You can use this presentation and go for the links. And you can ask me for an advice. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope you learned something. Banana!
Thanks. Has anyone questions? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah, wonderful.
How
Can
many
we-
eyes does your favorite minion have? 1 or 2?
Which one is my favorite minion?
How many eyes does your favorite minion have?
Only one.
And
Only
he
one.
is?
And he is entrepreneur.
Ah. Another question. Do we have to have Agnes to scream and jump? How many people should be in complementary team? How many people should be in complementary team? 4, 6, 7, 12, 20?
I think 2 persons are
Persons.
already a team.
And it's enough to create great idea and
No? But it can be a team already. And if you put them together, go back to this slide of different styles, conflicts, and double check what kind of conflicts you will see and you will need to resolve. And it's better if you tell them. It's nothing personal, you are just different. And please be aware that as different personalities, you're having different perspective, but you are a complementary team, and you will be well off if you know this.
oh, we have another question.
Hello. So for a quick recap, I'd just like to ask you to share with us some tips on how to work with each of the 4 mentioned personalities. How do I address these people, these personalities? Maybe how can I inspire them or make them more effective? Just as a recap.
Yes? I think this gives clear understanding. If you are coming to TIG, Integrator, please tell him who will be doing that. Discuss this. If you are coming to Administrator, Tara, please discuss how we are going to do it. Opie, don't talk about who and how. Tell what we will need to do. And Jax, I don't need. You need to go to him. He will come to you.